Sean Strickland recounts horrific childhood trauma that led to attack at UFC 296. Admits he bit Dricus du Plessis. So Sean Strickland did an interview with Theo Vaughn, and in that interview, Sean Strickland showed a side of him that we haven't seen before. And the reason why I'm not showing that interview right now is because it is copyrighted content, and I really don't want those problems. But in this article right here, Sean Strickland, you can see most of what he said in that interview. Right there, he begins with, there's some things that are off limits. He goes, you don't really talk about a man's wife, you don't talk about a man's kids, and you don't talk about a kid being abused. These things are all off limits. Once he crossed that, I tried to ignore it. I was boiling. So first of all, let's just appreciate the irony in Sean Strickland saying that you don't talk about a man's wife, considering he was just trashing in Gary's wife all over the place, calling her all kinds of names, a wag, even though she herself in a book admitted that she was a wag. But that's beside the point. The point is that he was doing that. He was going at the man's wife. He was. And here he's saying, you don't talk about a man's wife. So it's funny that he doesn't have the self-awareness to realize that he's doing he did what he's saying that you shouldn't really do. But that's just a part of it, right? It's only a part of it. Strickland in that interview talked about a lot of seriously traumatic stuff. Like right there, he says, I was probably in the 3rd or 4th grade. I used to always sleep in my mom's room because I thought my dad was going to kill my mom. Like, that is insane for a kid to think. As I was watching that interview, I remember just thinking to myself, dude, the contrast between the life that Sean Strickland lived as a kid and the life that I lived as a kid, you know, watching my mom and my dad, the way they interacted with each other, the love they showed each other, the beauty in my family, watching my uncles and my aunts and everyone come together, cooking, my mom cooking for everybody, having everyone come over and we all, go to church together. We all pray together. We worship together. We go out together. We did everything together. It was a beautiful, beautiful life growing up as a kid. Even though I grew up in a third world country, it was a beautiful life. And then contrast that with what Sean is talking about, thinking that his dad was going to kill his mom. There's never been a moment in my life where I thought that my dad was going to be violent towards my mom. I can't imagine having that thought as a child. It's mind-boggling, and it is so sad. It genuinely is. And that is what this man lived. It's a life he lived. He continues, so I would sleep by the door. I'd sleep under the bed. I'd sleep by the door because I thought my dad was going to kill my mom. That's just mental. He continues, one day, it was so effed up. They just got into a bad fight. It was like 3rd, 4th grade. My dad was like, F that. He's not sleeping in here tonight. Kick him out. So I army crawled under the bed, and I'm sleeping under the bed, and I'm laying under the bed as they're fighting because I think my dad was going to kill my mom. My dad gets on top of my mom, and I remember he said, I'm going to kill you tonight. He remembers this. He remembers his dad telling his mom, I'm going to kill you, while under the bed. Think about that picture as a child. It's horrifying. It is so horrifying and so unfortunate that he had to go through that. He continues, I am under the bed, and he starts strangling her. I get out, and the only thing I can see is a guitar. I just crack him in the head and call the cops. I run down the street to call the cops. He's arrested, and my mom bails him out of jail. I would say that's the tip of the iceberg. That doesn't even cover half of what he experienced as a kid with his abusive dad. He continues right here. I remember I used to just sit there and hug my mom's leg in the kitchen. We had this little nook, and she would go in the nook, and I would sit there, and all night long, I'm by my mom's feet, and my dad is saying, I'm going to kill you. He would talk about burning her face with acid. Dude. Horrific. Horrifying. I am in elementary school. He'd always tell her, if you cheat on me, and she probably was cheating on him, if you cheat on me, I'm going to cut you up and put you in a bottle of acid. First, Understand these are core memories for Sean Strickland now. And we all have core memories. Your dad buying you your favorite toys as a kid, your dad taking you fishing, and you guys have that wonderful experience fishing. Your mom cooking you your favorite meal on Christmas, your friends coming over, and you guys stay up late at night because this was the one night that your parents allowed you to stay up, and you guys get to play on your gaming console all night long, and it was amazing. We all have core memories as a kid. Sean Strickland's core memories are horrifying memories of his dad talking about chopping up his mother and murdering her and burning her with acid and then burying her. It breaks your heart, man. It really does when you think about what this dude went through. And it explains a lot. He continues, now you fast forward this. I don't go to school. I'm up until 3 in the morning and I couldn't stay awake in school. I stopped believing in God when I was in elementary school. I was laying in bed crying, thinking about killing myself. There can't be a God here. How is there a God? Why would I be in this situation if there was a God? There is no God. My earliest memories, his earliest memories. When I think back when I was a kid, I can't recall one good memory. Not one good memory as a kid. It's brutal, bro. It's completely brutal because when I think back to my life as a kid, all I remember are good memories. It's all I have. I have nothing but good memories. Yeah, I have moments when my dad disciplined me for being a bad kid. We all have that, but those are not even bad memories. Those are like laughable memories because I deserve that. You know what I mean? But most of my childhood has been beautiful, just beautiful. And it sucks. He continues, it's one of the things people don't understand is trauma. People understand when I talk about I'd kill a man. It's like you don't understand. When you go through that level of trauma, you just greet the world differently. So this is, in that interview, at one point, Sean broke down. He began to cry. It really took him a moment to pull himself together. Like, he really, really just broke down. And Theo did a very good job in that interview of just allowing the moment to breathe, letting him get those emotions out. And Sean was doing everything in his power to not let it out. But, after a while, bro, you hold those emotions in. After a while, it's just going to come bubbling out. And that's exactly what happened. And I've seen some people show grace to Sean Strickland. Have I been saying Sean O'Malley this whole time? I really, really hope not. Please, goodness. Because right now I was just about to say Sean O'Malley, but Sean Strickland. This whole, I've seen some people on one side showing grace to Sean Strickland, like, it's a pity this man went through that. We understand. And then there's some people who are like, screw that, we don't feel bad for him. And I am somewhere in the middle. I understand why the man is the way he is. That is not a good thing, bro. What he went through as a child, it is horrific. At the same time, I can also recognize that, dude, hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. It becomes a cycle that just keeps repeating itself over and over and over again. Sean Strickland had a terrible childhood. His dad was very abusive. And then a lot of the things that he's critiquing other people of doing to him is exactly what he's been doing to other people. Like, this is the same exact Sean Strickland that's crying right now, which, by the way, he has every right to do. It's the same Sean Strickland that when Khalil Roundtree in a post-fight press conference let a few tears out. He was asked a question that made him tear up. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Life is beautiful if you make it that way. It doesn't have to be how everybody else makes it seem. Stick around. Stick around another day. I would have a lot of a lot of things like that to say, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I believe it was asked what he would say to his younger self, or what he would say to other fighters, or something along those lines. And he's pretty much saying, life is beautiful if you make it that way, stick around, don't off yourself. And how does Sean Strickland respond to this? He goes, gayest shit I've ever seen, and I love bi women, so I've seen a lot of gay. Yeah, you're really special, a special little snowflake. This man is a definition of a PC beta male. You all would hate him. Seriously, being in the same room as him makes me cringe. So, would we now describe Sean Strickland as a PC beta male because he cried in an interview? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, you look at that and it's like, okay, I see why people are saying Sean Strickland does not deserve grace, because he did not give others grace when they were going through whatever they were going through. Right? This is the same Sean Strickland. He's talking about, you don't talk about people's wives and people's all this, but the same Sean Strickland, he had no problem. He had no issues whatsoever talking about Dricus du Plessis and his coach being gay. It's like, let's just imagine for a second that what if Dricus du Plessis really was gay? What if he really is? You don't know what trials and tribulations that man has been through for his sexuality growing up. You don't know that. If he was, I'm pretty sure he's been through a lot of issues because of that, especially growing up where he grew up. So what about his trauma? Well, Sean did not care about that when he was dropping F-bombs at him. And then that's not all. This is the same exact Sean Strickland that when a fighter died, this female fighter, Dana White and a bunch of other fighters, they all came together to try to honor her. She died in a car accident, in a car crash. Everybody, even, people were just paying homage and they were just showing respect. What was Sean Strickland's response?
And I got some shit to say, and I know I fucking shouldn't say it, but I'm so compelled to say it, I can't stop myself. That girl that died, fucking tragic, man. I feel so bad for her family, having to wake up to that. Really fucked up. People die all the time like that. It's really fucked up and tragic. Anyways, what Dana White did, fucking touching. Found the journal, posted about her, fucking amazing, right? But all you bandwagon guys, and this is where I'm gonna get a little bit of hate for this one. All you bandwagon guys posted a picture of her saying, I know your name. I dug a little deeper. And I'm gonna tell you guys, she wasn't that fucking good. 3-2, coming off a loss with a 1-1 record. And this is gonna sound fucked up, but this is just facts. If you didn't die, no one would have known your fucking name. Now that's fucked up, I know, you guys.
Yes, it is, Sean. It absolutely is. And it is because there is no reason to say that. There's no one can tell me the reason for Sean to say that. Now, he could say, I'm just speaking truth. But sometimes, man, there's a time and a place. That is not the time to start speaking truth. Even if what he's saying is true. There's a very good reason why we don't say, a very good reason why when someone dies, man, you just show them grace and you move on. Say R.I.P. or, hey, even if the people that were saying that they knew her, even if they didn't know her, they were, of course, saying it to be polite. Her family will read that. They'll feel good about it. Just make people feel good in that moment. It is a sad moment. Make them feel good. Move on. There's no reason to show up and shit all over the parade, but that's what he did. That's Sean Strickland, right? And all of that, again, goes back to the fact that hurt people. They just continue the cycle. That's not all. This is the same Sean Strickland that I was trying to find another video for this, but this is all I could find. When a Brazilian fighter got hit by a bus, this is Sean Strickland.
When I read it, I was like, a Brazilian fighter got hit by a fucking bus and died. No one gave a fuck about that guy. When I read it, I was like, God damn, dude, if you can't dodge a bus, that's why you're not in the UFC. That was my first joke when I read that, and I stand by it. It's fucking hilarious. But
in my opinion, it's not really a funny joke. It really isn't. But Sean has painted himself as the edgy guy. He's the guy that jokes about dead people. He's the guy that tells you, if she didn't die, nobody would have known his name. He's the real man, American, macho guy. And, he's the guy that mocks people when they cry. He's the guy that calls out the young guy who's married to the older woman. He's the man's man of the UFC. And then the man's man of the UFC finds himself in a situation where trauma, and the floodgates open, and he's crying his eyes out. And now I'm pretty sure he would love if everybody showed him grace. And we should. We all really should, because what he went through as a kid is no joke. But what I'm hoping is that with all this that has happened, what I'm hoping is that he realizes he's got to break the cycle. He's got to break the cycle. I'm hoping he will be introspective right now and realize, dude, I've been a part of the problem I'm complaining about right now. Like when you're saying you don't go at people's wives and you don't talk about trauma and all this, understand you've been a part of that. You've been one of the people that have been going at other people's wives and contributing to people's trauma. You've been a part of that. And I'm hoping that he's going to seek the help that he needs so that he can break this cycle and it does not continue. That's my hope for Sean Strickland. After, when it's all said and done, I hope the man finds the help that he needs, because he genuinely needs it. This is not something that you can just macho and man your way through, bro. Like you can't. And I'm pretty sure, I know the MMA community, a lot of people, they all love talking about, oh, you're soft and you're soft. Oh, this world has gotten so soft. Where are the real men? Everybody is crying. And what happened to the days when men were men and men did not cry? It's like, bro, men have always cried. All right? Believe me. This whole being macho just to be macho, it is so cringe. And that's not the true sign of masculinity, bro. A huge part of masculinity is taking accountability for your own self. And part of taking accountability is looking at yourself and realizing, I got a problem. I got to go try to fix that problem. And I think Sean Strickland, that's the next step in his evolution right now. He already showed the side of him. The illusion's broken. Now we know Sean cries, right? Hopefully he fixes this so he doesn't continue this cycle. Because if he doesn't, it's just going to continue, bro. It'll just continue and it will never end. So that's where I'm going to leave this, man. I don't want to linger on this topic for too long. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this whole thing. I wish Sean Strickland the absolute best in the world. I wish him the best. I know this is not easy. I hope he does his due diligence and gets his help. All right. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Have a good one.